Hey everyone, it's another session of the School of 5D. I don't know how our lighting is, hang on. It's the usual crappy cam situation here. I thought it was going to be a tiny bit brighter. Let me just see if I can. I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe I can sit back like this and hopefully you can hear me. Well, today I would like to talk about monotomic gold and how to make it. There are people who are buying monotomic gold, and it can be made very easily at home. Now, I want to talk about it first though a little bit. So monotomic gold can be found in everything. Monotomic gold is can be found in you, in your blood. And so there are, I had the opportunity to talk to someone who actually worked with the fellow who originally discovered the monotomic gold when he was digging with some machinery in his workplace. I can't remember the name of the man, unfortunately, right now. I don't think it's important, I guess. So I talked to him, and he told me that what I just told you, which is that monotomic gold is in everything. And what else I can tell you is that the monotomic gold is in very high concentrations in red fruits and vegetables. Like a beet would be very good. Grapes, red grapes are very good in terms of that. And so I suppose that the red wine in certain ceremonies might be coming to mind, and why that might be significant. So when you are going to if you look on the internet now and you look at how to make monotomic gold, you'll find that there are people on there, and they're either making it sound very mysterious, or they are showing you how to make it using real gold leaf, or using different chemicals that I can't even pronounce, and definitely bicarbonate of magnesium, or sodium, magnesium, and stuff like that. Well, this is the thing. I thought I was Annunaki for a while, even though I'm not. I'm Pleiadian. But that was because, as part of my mission, I came here and I came through different bloodlines to transmute very dark energy. And if you watch some of my other videos, you'll see that I also came through a reptilian bloodline in order to purify it. So having access to the memories of the Annunaki and some of the scientists has helped me to unlock a lot of mysteries around the monotomic gold, why it was so important, and why it was ever made. And so it is connected to enlightenment. But I want to tell you now, another connection that I have with it is that I was a teacher at a place called Om Haven, where there is another teacher who has a sweat lodge on the property there of this Om Haven ranch, which doesn't exist anymore. I think it's moved from the place it was. Anyways, there were wells on this land. It was like 60 acres, and one of them ran under the sweat lodge, and the water that came out of that was put in a jar and sat somewhere, and the white powder just came out and was sitting on the bottom of the jar. And I believe that they're producing the monotomic gold and putting it into little containers, and I think they put a little piece of amethyst crystal in it and you shake it up. That's how it used to be. And I took that, and what I want to tell you is another thing. This is all coming out randomly. This is just the way I do it. No, I didn't make notes, obviously. You don't take too much. You can take too much. The recommended dose is 1 drop for 365 days consecutively, and then you're finished and you don't take it anymore. Anyways, I also want to say that, do you really want to get your enlightenment from a bottle? Do you? Do you really want to, I'm just going to ask you that. Do you want your enlightenment in a bottle? Okay, if you do, I'm going to tell you that there are a lot of quantum scientific principles involved in what I'm about to tell you. And there are a lot of extremely fancy words that go with what I'm about to tell you. And you can look at other videos and attach all the fancy words. I'm simply, in terms of this video right now, a shaman who you will sense what I'm saying, and you will connect in a vibrational manner with this information, or you won't. And in terms of that, you will be able to do what I'm saying, or you won't. Because the making of the monotomic gold is, you know, if you're not pulling something out of the etheric realm or out of another dimension into this one, then you're simply taking the material that we already have here and reforming it into something else. And I suppose, to me, that's nothing new, and it's nothing really all that exciting. Really, is it? No, it's not. So when people take the gold leaf and then they do a bunch of chemical things to it and they say this is monotomic gold, or when they take salt and put it through a chemical process, and then they come up with the white powder, and that, you know, I don't know. This is, to me, this is that what I really want? No. So we know that there is a mirror of everything. There is multiple dimensions, and there is, when I say a mirror of everything, I've said in previous videos, I only have one teaching, 50-50. When you approach something, 50 spirit and 50 material. So the gold, with all of its magical properties that you can look up and get all fascinated by gold, you may as well. I think that's a good thing to do. Because it has importance not only vibrationally or physically or in terms of physical enlightenment, but it is also has much to do with technology and the ability that gold has to work with electricity. And I'm going to remind you that electricity is all about electrons, and electrons run in a circle. Okay? And that should give you a clue as to why that circle is the importance of a circle, and you know, all the different ways that that would be important. Okay, so now you're going to make the monotomic gold, and you're going to need a few things. So the first thing that you're going to need is a container for your gold, and this could be a very large mason jar, or it could be a very large glass container that you have that is you know, something, it might be something special to you. It ought to be something special to you. So this whole entire exercise of making the monotomic gold the way that I'm going to tell you, everything here is done shamanically and done spiritually and done with the premise of 50-50. You're not going to, measure the things and put them all together, and it's not a scientific process I'm about to tell you about. It is a spiritual process I'm about to tell you about. So in that way, you need to have a relationship that goes beyond material form with everything that you're going to work with. All right? It's really important. I'm also going to tell you that you need to bring into this process all of your power, because that's important, isn't it? Your power. What is your power? No. It might be symbols that seem important to you. It could be colors. It could be your will, your free will. It could be your mind and its ability to focus and concentrate. It could be the unending amounts of vibrating, pulsating electricity that is coming from your heart. It could be that your power is the power to discern with the brain in your stomach. Anyways, bring your power to this, and a container, a large container, a glass container. And then you need to stir with something, and it would be great if you had a glass rod, and if you don't, that's fine, but please don't use wood. Use metal if you don't have glass, and it could be a sacred dagger. That'd be cool, but you might not have one. But if you don't, that's cool. But you'll find something, and you could, in a pinch, use a very hard plastic, but I don't recommend that. Now, well, how I found out about this whole process was because, like I said, I thought I was Annunaki, and so I was going in my mind there because like what happened when they came here, what were they looking for, what was up, and of course the monotomic gold came up, and so I'm not going to go into all that, but there's a lot of different reasons why salt was very valuable at a certain time in the history of this planet. So what you need after you have your container is you need salt, and you need this salt to be preferably Dead Sea salt from the Dead Sea. Or it could be Himalayan salt, or it could be French gray salt, or it could be just pure sea salt. It needs to be vibrating in a pure high fashion, and again, in this, you're the shaman, and you need to be able to make an energetic and vibrational connection with the entire process of purchasing that salt or obtaining that salt. And you need to come out of your rational thought process, and you need to be able to watch for signs, look for clues, and realize that thinking in some cases is overrated. So now you have your container and you have your salt. So the next thing that you need is something red that has the, now there is a lot of symbology here, okay, going on, and a lot, like I said, there's a lot of fancy scientific words as well that would go with everything that I'm telling you in terms of what the salt is and what it does and how it carries electricity, because the monotomic gold is all about electricity, okay? And then in spiritual terms, the red and the white, and what happens when you put those two essences together. So now you're going to go and you are going to find a fine, wonderful, high vibrating bottle of red wine, or you might find a very well crafted bottle of red wine vinegar that has been aged. You might find some lovely organic grape juice. You might even be lucky enough to have some beet juice. Whatever it is, I would like you to take that and put it into a small bottle, something that you can sort of get drops out of, like a dropper, something like that. You could put it into a dropper, a bottle dropper, I guess. And then what you're going to do is you are going to set up a sacred space, a sacred time. And if you want your monotomic gold to have more power and energy and to get more of the gold, then you're going to ask other yogis and yoginis or spiritual people to join you and to make a circle. If you have a circular table, that's perfect. And then you're going to put your jar, and you're going to have your salt, and you're going to have your red substance, and then you are also going to need super fresh, clean water, preferably from a fresh running creek. I have access to that very easily. Many of you might not. I suggest that if you have to buy that water, that you purify it yourself before you use it. And how you would do that is simply by taking it from one container and pouring it, and when you pour it, say some mantra, okay, and or infuse that water with some good words, and make sure that you aerate that water, and you pour it back and forth and back and forth and back and forth several times, and awaken that water if you have to buy the pure water and you can't just get it from a creek. Okay, so now you've got your lovely container, which is perfectly clean. Everything is perfectly clean, and your area is set out, and you are going to bring in any power symbols or objects that you have at this time. You might have something like this. You might have a Pleiadian crystal like this, or not. And you might have a ruby or something crazy. Or you might just have your own sense of your own crystalline awareness. That would be better than the crystal. And you're going to set all these things out onto geometry. So you might have a round mat. You might arrange stones in a circle around your jar. You might make a star shape. That is entirely up to your spiritual discernment. And then you are going to consider some numbers, because you're going to add your salt and your red substance in numeric amounts that are significant to you. You might put 7 drops of the red and 9 drops and 9 spoonfuls of salt. It doesn't matter. It is you. You might put 11 each. You might put 1 each. You might not be able to think of what those numbers are until it's time to do it. The thinking part, as I said, is not important. It's very important that you have the ability to clear your mind and clear yourself of your ego, which is your name and everything associated with it. You have to stand very strongly in what some people refer to as their highest self, or you know, the 50% of you that isn't material, that is nameless. And then you are going to stand or sit, and it's very important now that you put your body into some sacred geometry. Sounds like my dog's chewing on something weird. The puppies are gone, but my own dog has regressed to a puppy due to the puppies. Don't chew that. That's just, no. Anyways, so you're going to straighten up your shoulders. You're going to straighten up your spine. You're going to put your legs in a geometric position. Meaning even and squared off, or you could triangulate your feet if you want. It's just you're going to run energy. And also, if you watched my other videos, which I'm sure you haven't, you could you know, we do align ourselves with the center of the universe at the top and the crystalline core of the earth through the valves in the bottom of our feet. Then you're going to stir. Now, I could say things like vortex energy and toroidal field, and I could say all those things. I'm not. But when you stir, you are actually gathering up all the energy from all of your meridians, and you're sending it out through your hands. And when you stir, you can't stop. Okay? So once you start the vortex in the container, you can't stop. So you have one hand and you're stirring. Alright? And you can see that I'm a really good stirrer. And this is the thing. How come you can see that? Because you can see the geometry. Alright? And you can see the energy and the geometry happening. So you're going to be stirring with your one hand, whatever hand you want to stir with, and then you're going to be adding in increments, in numeric increments that you feel akin to, spoonfuls of salt and drops of the red substance. And yes, you are going to put yourself into an altered state. It's really important. You are you're manifesting here, okay? And we do that by creating a template or a blueprint, by knowing what it is in our mind, exactly what it is that we wish to create, by becoming completely clear and relaxed, and really requesting that this come into material form. Again, the explanations might be, I'd say they'd be dreary and boring. So let's skip them. Alright? You will feel this process of making the monatomic gold. All part of why I'm telling you how to make it. Because the process of making it is just as good as taking the final gold. Okay? It's going to teach you a lot of different things, and it will teach you about manifesting, because you are about to materialize something from nothing. So you're stirring and you're adding to 3. Your bowl's laid out on the geometry. You have crystals all around. Your whole entire atmosphere that you have created for that time, everything's perfect. This is a space and that you have created for yourself for a number of reasons. And you're stirring and you're adding the drops, and you're stirring and you just keep it going, and you just keep doing it, and you just keep doing it. And in your mind, you are requesting and you are asking for that monotomic gold, and you are, now this is important to me. I don't know how other people do this. I don't understand manifestation without intent. You can't say, well, I want this monatomic gold because I thought it'd be cool. I'm kind of curious. A lack of confidence or intentionality or purpose is not, I think, helpful to anything. So, as you stir, yes, a vortex will be created. Yes, it is a good idea to look into the vortex, the toroidal field, the little tornado that is being formed, and to focus your third eye energy into there, whatever that means. I mean, that's just a silly thing for me to say, your third eye energy. You know, what does that mean? Concentrate and focus and be alert but clear. Okay? There's a big difference between fuzzy and not thinking and clear and not thinking. Stir the crap out of that, baby. I just need to check on my dog. My adult dog now spends her time destroying the leftover puppy toys. But this is not wine. This is apple juice. Locally made. Okay, so stir the crap out of that, okay? And when you feel it's finished, it is. And you will note that all of the salt is dissolved. Okay, that's what you want. And you then take a very special cloth that you have, and maybe you have a cover for that container, and you carefully put that on there, and lovingly, as though you have created a baby of sorts, you wrap that jar up and you leave it. And you leave it overnight. And then when you wake up in the morning, kids, on the bottom of that jar is a whole bunch of white powder. If you use Dead Sea salt. If you used Himalayan salt, you might have pink powder. But it is powder. It is not salt crystal. And then you want to siphon or drain off all the salt water above it. And there you have your monatomic gold. Now, I think that listen, I call it Annunaki Kracki, okay? I don't think it's really great for you to take all the time. I think materialized enlightenment is like macaroni and cheese, and you should learn how to make pasta by hand or something. I don't think you should. I don't think it's a good way to go, but I do know that it helps people who aren't awake to be more sensitive. And I also think that you should make some monatomic gold because it's a magical experience that you ought to experience. I just want to say, look, the new earth is here now. Okay? I am, of course, welcoming people. It is March 8th, or is it March 8th still? No, it's not anymore. It's March 9th now. So I don't look at the time a lot. I don't look at the calendar a lot. I don't have a bank account. I try not to use money, even though I just started a business. Isn't that weird? Yeah, that's weird. Anyways, you're all welcome to come to Peace Camp, to the Skoolof5d, where I will be teaching all summer long. And I really don't like promoting things. I think if you resonate with something, then you should do it. And if you don't, then you shouldn't. And you can find me on FB, of course. My name is Penny Singh. My other account was shut down, the one that has like 3,000 people on it, because the dark is having the light like blasted on it, and it's freaking the crap out. And so it's trying very hard to go like this to people like me, who also shine the light pretty damn hard. And this makes people scatter. It sure does. So please be happy in this new fifth dimensional awareness that we have. Yes, you do need to overcome all of your fears. And yes, you do need to just be grounded within yourself. And yes, this is about you. And no, you don't need to be influenced by anyone at this time or anything. And you need to take a day out of your life to not be influenced by anyone or anything. See what happens. And yes, we're in for a ton of changes, and they're all good if you're all good. And if you happen to be a dickwad, I'm sorry. Okay. Have a great day. I love you. A special shout out to the Destroying the Illusion family. You are amazing. You're changing my everyday experience. I have hardly none of my old friends on Facebook, and almost all new Destroying the Illusion family people. You're in my heart now, and I absolutely adore all of you. And thank you, Jordan Sather, for bringing us together. And don't worry, please. Everything's going to be fine. Namaste. Namago.